100. to regain control with minimal bloodshed. But dialogue was not on the agenda that day. The Secretary of Public Security, Pedro Franco de Campos, authorized the operation. Command was given to Colonel Ubitin Guimaraes, a hardliner not known for his patience. He was a soldier, and he saw the inmates not as citizens in state custody, but as an enemy to be crushed. The choice of unit was deliberate. The Rondas Ostensuas Tobias de Aguirre, or Rota, these weren't ordinary cops. They were a heavily armed shock force trained for urban warfare, with a long and bloody history on the streets. Sending them into Pavilion 9 was like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. It was a choice that prioritized retaking the building over preserving the lives inside it. Late that afternoon, a force of more than 300 military police officers gathered outside Guru. They were a terrifying sight, clad in riot gear and armed with submachine guns and automatic rifles. Witnesses would later say many officers had removed or covered their name tags, a common tactic to avoid being identified during violent raids. Their orders were simple: retake Pavilion 9, at any cost. Colonel Guimaraes gave the order. The assault began. The police didn't enter with tear gas or rubber bullets. They entered with live ammunition, and they started shooting almost immediately. The first wave stormed the ground floor, their automatic weapons thundering through the concrete halls. The inmates, armed with shivs and pipes, were no match. The initial resistance crumbled in minutes, but the police didn't stop. What followed was not a police action. It was a hunt. Survivors' accounts, later backed by forensic evidence, paint a horrifying picture. The police advanced upwards, floor by floor, firing indiscriminately. Inmates who tried to surrender, dropping their weapons and raising their hands, were shot. Inmates who fled back to their cells were shot in the back. The stairwells became kill zones, slick with blood and littered with bodies. Amnesty International later collected harrowing testimonies. One survivor described seeing police officers laugh as they executed a wounded man begging for his life. Another recalled how officers forced a group of prisoners to carry the bodies of their dead friends, only to shoot them once the task was done. appeal. After more than 3 decades, the grim reality remains: no one has been punished for the execution of 111 men. And the man in charge, Colonel Ubertin Guimaraes, was convicted in 2001 and sentenced to 632 years in prison. But he never served a day. Instead, he successfully ran for political office in 2002 using the campaign number 14111, a chilling reference to the death toll. His new office granted him immunity, and in 2006, a court acquitted him, ruling he was just following orders. Just a few months later, he was found dead in his apartment, killed by a single gunshot. His murder has never been solved. Graffiti quickly appeared on his building. What goes around comes around. The legacy of Carandiru left deep scars on Brazil. One was the rise of the country's most powerful criminal organization, the Primeiro Comando da Capital, or PCC. Founded in a different prison in 1993, its founding mission was to fight oppression in the prison system, with a memory of Carandiru serving as a powerful catalyst and a rallying cry to avenge the 111 deaths. What began as a prison gang has since grown into a transnational criminal empire, controlling a huge portion of the international drug trade with revenues in the billions. A parallel state born directly from the state's own violence. The second legacy was the physical erasure of Carandiru. The prison remained open for another decade before finally being closed for good in 2002. The infamous Pavilion 9 was the first to be demolished, imploded in a massive cloud of dust. In its place now stand the Parque da Juventude, the youth park, where men once died in terror. Children now play. It's a place of green lawns and libraries, a symbol of hope built on a foundation of horror. But no park can erase the memory of the blood that soaked into that ground. Conclusion: the Carandiru massacre was not simply a prison riot that ended in tragedy. The evidence points to something far more sinister, a calculated act of state-sponsored violence, followed by a decades-long cover-up. 111 dead prisoners, 0 dead police officers. The numbers alone destroy the official story of a firefight. They speak of an execution. Today, the massacre remains an open wound in Brazil. It's a stark reminder of deep-seated police brutality and a justice system that fails to hold the powerful accountable. While Carandiru is gone, the conditions that created it are still here. Brazil's prisons remain dangerously overcrowded, with reports from 2024 showing a deficit of over 174,000 spaces nationwide. The story of Carandiru is a cautionary tale about what happens when the state sees its own citizens not as people to be rehabilitated, but as a problem to be eliminated. It shows how violence only creates more violence. The battle for justice for the 111 men of Pavilion 9 continues, fought by lawyers, activists, and the families who refuse to let them be forgotten. Their struggle is a testament to the power of memory against the weight of impunity. The official story might be one of a riot contained, but the real story, the one whispered in cells and shouted by activists, is one of murder, and it's a story that has to be told. Keeping the memory of what happened at Carandiru alive is essential in the fight for truth. If you believe these stories need to be told, and that we must learn from history, please consider subscribing for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. Share this to help raise awareness, because justice, even when delayed for decades, is still worth fighting for. Thank you for watching.